everyone, and welcome to Dungeon Master Game Jams. I am Puck / Sean / Benevolent Dungeon Master, you know me, and I'm joined today with very special guest, just an incredible fella who I am privileged to know. Final boss Felix is here with me today, or some of you may just know him as Felix, but Felix is here. Hi, Felix.
Hey, how's it going? That was quite the intro. I feel honored. Thank you.
Oh, look, man, look. I am. You're just cool, dude. I like the way you run games. Although I've never seen you do it, I only have it at third hand, or second hand from it. But I feel it's so weird. If I may just go off into a tangent almost immediately before we even talk about, hey, we're playing Journey, guys.
Yeah, we're playing Journey, by the way. I was told to pick a game that made an impact on me, and Journey, when I've completed it for the first time, just like made me cry so hard for some reason.
Aww.
Even though there's nothing sad about it, right? It was just like, I guess I was just like having an emotional day, and it just like hit me, and it's like, that's why Journey's always like at the top of my list for impactful, because there's very few games that make me shed a tear, let alone cry like that.
And that's the thing. Like, I never got to play this game when it came out, but everybody was raving about this, and it hit a lot of people in the fields.
Yeah,
because I'm a huge fan of no dialogue storytelling.
Yeah.
Like, I love all the Genndy Tartakovsky stuff. I love Samurai Jack. I love the original Clone Wars series. I've always thought that he does that kind of thing really well, so I love this style of just completely visual storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good.
It is, and it's like, I don't know, even, like I said, there's no like sad ending. It's not like, oh yeah, someone dies,
it's just an ending.
It's just an ending, and it's just like,
yeah, it's an ending, and it gets you right in the feels.
Yeah, D&D campaign goals.
Exactly. That's so good. But anyways, what I was saying before.
You tangent.
I tangented. What I was saying before is that, I was thinking about going into this and doing this show. I'm like, man, Felix is a unique dude, because I've never had the pleasure of sitting at your table. I have had the pleasure of having you at my table twice.
But that's true. Yeah, I haven't DM'd for you.
It has been delightful. Yes, absolutely. But, just through hearing the Fool's Gold campaign stories, I get a sense of the effort that you put into the world and the campaign from that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as a person who has been, like, forever Dungeon Master. Like,
forever DM.
Yeah, forever DM, hashtag forever DM. Like, when I watch Dingo's videos and I hear about her story and everything, man, I'm like, Felix put a lot of work into this campaign.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that, that people had fun. I mean, it's like it's not like they had any standards. They weren't just like, oh yeah, we're expecting such and such. And for some of them, this was like this was like their first campaign ever, or like the second campaign they've ever played. So it's crazy how it just kind of became its big thing, I guess.
Yeah, like, it does that ever, like, what does that feel like for you sometimes when you're like, just like, everybody knows this campaign that you've done?
Oh, imposter syndrome is so real. Like, I feel like, like the fraud's gonna come out or something, and people are gonna realize that I'm like, I'm not the great DM they think they are, or something like that.
Dude,
so,
man, I get that a lot. Like, even running the own game, when I'm like, the fan base that we have, when they talk to me and, oh, it's so cool, this stuff, and I'm like, oh jeez, they're gonna figure out all the 80s and 90s cartoons I ripped this stuff off of soon.
Yeah, no, it's like, I'm trying not to not to embrace the imposter syndrome, but I think a lot of DMs can relate to that. It's like, because a lot of it is just, you are making it up, or you're getting inspiration from stuff, so it's hard not to feel the imposter syndrome come like hitting you.
Absolutely. When I was doing this with Brad yesterday, he was talking about he's like, Final Fantasy is such a big part of his life, and he keeps finding himself accidentally putting Final Fantasy into all of his games.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a good thing though, because Final
Yeah.
Fantasy's pretty bitchin'.
I mean, it's good stuff. I mean, if the stuff that you're pulling from is good, and you're just like it's it's inspiring and not referential. Oh, somebody's here.
Oh, you actually met someone.
I
That's
did.
not me, unfortunately.
Okay, it's not you.
No,
How big is your scarf?
I'm in the area behind you.
Okay. Oh, wait. We have different sigils.
Ooh.
What does your sigil look like?
I don't have a sigil yet.
What? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm about to get mine actually.
All right. Then. And this is so weird. Just just these interactions. When you did your first playthrough, did you encounter a buddy?
Unfortunately not. I was going single player.
You were all alone?
Yep. I was alone on my journey.
So, I mean, we know now how this game had an effect on
Mm-hmm.
you. It was very important to you. Were there any inspirations drawn from this game or any other game in stuff that you did DM or have DM'd in the past?
By the way, quick favor, can you turn down your game audio a tiny bit?
Sure.
It's hard to hear you.
Super loud.
Yeah. Whenever a cutscene hits, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna try to figure out what he's saying.
Oh my goodness. Here, we're gonna bring this down. There we go.
Oh, much better, much better. Thank you so much. Other games that inspired like DM stuff. Let me think. There's a lot because I love games.
Oh, yeah.
Zelda. I just love the feeling of like mystery and exploration that Zelda games usually capture pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I mean, the entire Fool's Gold campaign. Okay, like when I plan campaigns, I usually do it to like a few different game soundtracks, or like certain songs. And the majority of Fool's Gold, I planned to Dark Souls, Zelda, and Witcher.
Really?
Yeah, those were my big, well, at least like mood inspirations. You know, I wanted to have those those gnarly boss fights from Dark Souls that just like you got to be on your A game, or these things will crush you. And my players definitely feel that. I liked the kind of how should you say it? Like the exploration of Witcher, because you know eventually you learn like, oh yeah, I need to like make such and such potion or elixir, and it's gonna help me beat this very specific monster on my hunt.
Right.
So I really enjoy that.
And everything for it.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. And yes, I mean Zelda, we've got the amazing exploration of those games. Also, even just like the mysteries, you know, like Zelda does a lot of stuff where it's like, well, you know, like, oh yeah, so and so many years ago, this goddess did such and such, and then this amazing thing happened, and nobody really questions it.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that as well for storytelling.
So, what is your favorite Zelda title?
I mean, it's Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah,
it used to be Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. But when Breath of the Wild came out, it's been thoroughly, like the others have been dethroned.
Yeah, like it's kind of set the bar higher. It really has.
Way higher.
Man, at the end of Breath of the Wild, when you go fight Ganon, and if you have like all the champions done and everything, you complete everything. When they do their like announcements and the beam comes down from the sky, like, tingles, chills every time. Because I'm like, man. It's all built to this.
Yeah, oh, that felt so good. So
good.
Also like when like I 100% at the game pretty much. Like before I even wanted to get close to Ganon, I just wanted to explore everything and find everything. So by the time I finally got around to it, I was so overpowered. It's like, oh man, this guy's a total chump.
Yeah, this guy ain't nothing.
So I almost kind of ruined the ending for myself a bit because I was so overpowered. That's like, oh, there's like no challenge at all.
You were well prepared.
Very well prepared.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to get that impression from you that you really enjoy these kind of exploration games.
Yeah, I do.
That
I
like
love
find all
I
the
love a good
neat
adventure
things.
and taking my time to really explore all its nooks and crannies and yeah,
And see what's up.
yeah.
Man, those are fun games to do. I love
hmm
exploration games.
Do
Although
you
I,
have any like specific games that inspire you for your DMing, or is it mostly like you were saying, like shows
it's
from the past?
mostly shows. Like I don't know. I pull from games a little bit, but I was thinking about this the other day too. Like the way I approach games, for the most part, which I think makes me a bit of a frustrating player to have, if I'm being completely honest, uh, is that I always try to like the way I explore in games is I'm very much the kind of player that is like, okay, I want to try and do a thing, and then I'll like try to mess with the game and see how far I can push certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that like I don't want to necessarily call it trolling because my intention is never to break the narrative or anything like that.
Right.
It's just I'm always like, okay, but what if I did this? It's like when I played Baldur's Gate. Have you played Baldur's Gate 3 yet?
You know what? It's on my list. The Baldur's Gate 3, I'm waiting until they finish it.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, one of the mechanics of Baldur's Gate 3 is that like I mean it's the whole thing is basically D&D. You're all good and everything, but you can like
Yeah.
pick up these barrels of like explosive materials and put them in your inventory. And I'm like,
Okay.
okay, so what if I grabbed these and then I walked up to this battle that I wasn't supposed to win and set them on the ground and then set them off?
Oh, that's good stuff.
The stuff like that, right? Or like in what is it called? Crap, I can't remember the name of the game. The Dark Descent.
Dark Descent.
Amnesia, The Dark Descent. There we go.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever played Amnesia?
Oh, yeah.
So, first time I played Amnesia, my roommates had picked it up, and they started playing it, and they got to the portion where the ground floods, and there's that invisible monster stomping around in the flooded water.
Oh, the worst.
Yeah, and they were all freaking out about it. I'm like, bet you I could kill that monster. And they're like, you can't kill the monster. You can't kill anything in this game. And I killed the
Yeah.
monster. So, the trick is you pick something up, and then while you're above it, you throw it down at it. And they were so mad at me afterwards.
Oh,
But
that's so good.
that's how I like to play games like that. Don't tell me that I can't do something, because I'm going to try and do it.
Yeah. No, but that's good. I encourage players to do that in my games. It's like if you find a really awesome solution, game breaking or not, that's what it's all about.
See, yeah, and I love that stuff too. I want my players to think outside the box. I want them to try something new or come up with a unique solution or a new idea to something that I didn't think of.
Yeah. No, it's rewarding when it happens. It's like, oh yeah, this is good stuff.
So, so you're a planner. Like you actually go out and like full on come up. Like how far in a framework for say you're starting a new campaign?
hmm
How much prep do you put into it? Like do you have it like this is my rough story framework in my world and then kind of let them loose, or do you go like full on and you've got a ton of details sorted out by the time it's dice are rolled?
No, God, no. It's a lot less than people assume. And I want to instantly put a disclaimer here saying like, it totally depends on your style as a DM.
Absolutely.
Like, I do my planning a certain way, and other people plan it way differently, and to each their own.
Yeah.
But for me, when I plan a new campaign, it's really a matter of what are my big moments. What's my main goal here? Something like, okay, I want to, we've got this one baddie, and he's gonna blow up the moon or something like that.
Oh
And
yeah.
then think a little bit about the players, just like, well, what do they want to kind of see in this campaign?
Right. What are they after?
Yeah, someone's like, yeah, I'd love to do some heists. Someone's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna plan some heist stuff.
Yeah.
And
See,
Oh, I also plan the map.
oh yeah, absolutely. I do a lot of map making.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just because I like to give players like the whole map and be like, hey, yeah, go explore. Here's kind of your world that you can go in. Have fun.
where you go.
Yeah. What were you saying?
No, I like that. But no, I was saying like the best DMs that I've met know that your players will tell you the kind of game they want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's very true.
sometimes you have to listen. Like it's a good idea, otherwise you're gonna prevent people from having a good time.
Exactly. And that's when like you get issues with railroad DMs where just like, no, I want it like to happen a certain way. And like those people I just like to tell it, it's fine. Like if you want to make your story, go for it, but that's called writing a book. Yeah. And you can totally do that.
You can write all the books you want.
Yeah. You don't need players then. That's fine.
Yeah. But your players are there to tell the story. You tell the story with them, and like they will tell you the kind of game they want to play. And if you're running, it's like if you were having guests for dinner. Yeah. And your guests were all vegetarian, and then you prepared a rack of ribs.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a good dinner.
It might be genuinely like you might be the best cook ever, and damn, those ribs have won worldwide competitions, but they're still vegetarians.
Yeah, right. So still, nobody's gonna have fun at your dinner. Right?
Yeah.
I've often compared, like, to me, D&D is a lot like preparing a meal for friends. You build a thing, and then you present it to them, and then you watch everybody enjoy it.
That's a really nice comparison. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you just want people to have a good time.
Exactly.
It's like entertaining guests. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Are you running anything right now?
No, I am about to be actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I just met a person.
Oh,
they're just walking into a wall though. I hope they're.
Well, I hope they're okay.
Okay. No, they're just walking into a wall. Okay, I'm gonna leave them be.
All right.
Look, I'm not gonna mess with that.
Whatever they're up to, I don't want any part of it.
Yeah. But I'm actually going through these planning stages at the moment. With some stuff that I can't really talk about much, but I can say that I'm doing it.
That's right. I'm not. I won't press. But I'm excited.
Yeah. But when I am also plan campaigns, like me as the DM, sure, I represent the world and whatnot.
Right.
But I very much go in with the mindset of I'm on this adventure as much as my players. Like I want to explore this world, I don't know what's all here. I don't know what they're all gonna find. Right. And I would like to find out with them. Like I'm just as excited as they are to explore.
The players are the medium through which you explore the world.
Exactly. Like I'm not, it's not the players are playing my world. It's like, no, we all dive together into this world to see what's up.
See, I get that because I'm very much like I'm kind of a fly by the seat of my pants DM most of the time, like because I'm not a good studier. I have a hard time setting down with a book and planning stuff out. So I tend to start with like an idea in my head of a concept and then build from there.
Yeah, no, I really just plan the parts that I need for improv, because I am an improv DM and I am proud of the fact that my worlds are open world sandboxes. And
do what you want and go where you need to go.
Exactly. Not to say that I don't provide any guidance. Like my games certainly have a purpose and a direction, but my players, they are also, they're really good players in my opinion, and they really take advantage of this in a nice way. They know how to find their direction, and unlike my direction where I didn't know where I was going with that sentence, they know what they're doing with the direction in my games.
Sometimes you find it along the way.
Yeah, sometimes you find it as you play, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah, sometimes it just comes up, or whatever.
Yeah.
No, man, like I get that. It's so good when you've got a good table to play with, and there becomes a scenario where it's like, okay, I can rely on my players to handle whatever I'm gonna throw at them.
Yes, that's huge. When you have that, you're very fortunate.
Yeah, I've recently I've noticed because I've started doing other games without my regular crew, uh, Class Trip and other shows on the channel.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that I've kind of gotten too used to my crew. Because like my crew, when they're there, when they're playing with me, I can just set them up in a role play scenario, and they will just talk for 30 minutes, no problem. Just role play with each other and go. And I'm like, cool, go. And but when I'm with these new groups that like don't have that history and don't have that build up with each other, it's not the same, and I have to kind of guide them and push them a little bit more. It's definitely like an interesting switch.
Yeah, it is. You just kind of have to go back to the basics and like kind of like prompt them and being like, hey, what do you think about this? Or what's your character's response to this and stuff like that.
What do you want to do? What do you want to go with this?
And when they like, I have encountered a few people. They have a bit of like choice paralysis. And
oh yes.
if they're not used, like if they have choice paralysis and then they go into one of my campaigns where I really allow them a lot of freedom, that can be overwhelming for them. And then I just say, like, I give a few choices. Maybe you want to do A or B, or perhaps you think of something else.
That's a good term for it. Choice paralysis. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they can kind of choose if they want to just kind of do the quick and dirty. They can pick one of my solutions. Otherwise, make your own. Absolutely.
There you go. I don't want to tell you what to do with it. Do your own thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, it's always good when you have that solid connection with a team and you can let them go.
Yeah, it's always funny when I see people complaining about like the Mercer effect. When like players are finding like the DM and they're like, oh, you better be like Matt Mercer. And, like, I mean, which is a whole issue in itself.
Yeah, that's a high bar.
Well, it's not even a bar. It's like apples and oranges. We're like, sorry, are you on a produced show? Are you trained voice actors? Do you have these budgets?
Do you have a group of trained voice actors at your table?
Yeah, like it's not the same thing. It is a completely different beast.
Absolutely.
But the best argument, to say against that, is just like, are you all like if they expect the DM to be Mercer, are the players going to be everybody else?
Yeah, right.
Trained and perfect actors, and yeah,
it's
the point is like it takes the whole table.
It does take the whole table. Like that whole thing just doesn't. How do I put this? You can have the best DM in the world, but if you do not have a table that responds to them, you're not gonna have a great game going on.
No.
Right?
No, it's everybody participates. It's not a
exactly. It's
1v something. It's like no, everybody's in it, and or not, I guess.
Yeah. Either you're in it or you're not in it. Or,
yeah.
See, I love that. I love those scenarios where you get into, like, has this ever happened for you? And I imagine it has, because you're very good at this. But you get into a scenario, and you're just storytelling. And then it just dawns on you. I've been talking for a certain amount of time, and everybody at this table is just tied up in what I'm saying.
Like enamored with your story?
Yeah, yeah. Like you have the full attention of everybody at the table, and everybody's just like, tell me more.
And nobody wants to talk because they don't want to interrupt you because they're just
exactly.
Oh, they're really into it.
Yeah, they're just super into it.
Yeah, that's the best.
It's such a good feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
No, when the table goes silent,
yeah,
it's usually a very good thing.
Absolutely. And that's tough to do sometimes with certain tables because, like, the thing about doing tense stories, intense moments in stories, is that everybody wants to break the tension. Like that's an improv 101 thing. Like if if you do an emotional scene or a tense scene or something like that, everybody's brain is going, make a joke, make a joke, make a joke. Like,
Yeah. People don't like silence.
yeah, people wanna break up the tension in some way. So if you make a scenario in which your table doesn't break the tension and just goes with it, tends to be quite an achievement. That's why I always tell people it's so hard to do like a horror game or a suspense game or that kind of thing, because it's so tough to just maintain that level of unease in a group.
It is. Yeah, because people like to crack jokes. Also, D&D, it's still supposed to be fun. You're not
Absolutely.
actually chopping people's limbs off.
Exactly.
Um,
Having a good time.
yeah. For that, really, the best thing... Like, I ran a few... Okay, well, I ran a few Halloween specials, and I ran one specific horror special, which that was never public. That was... I did that with the Fool's Gold team during the original campaign. And... Sorry, this is me playing a game and then forgetting I have to talk.
No problem.
Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So I really just kind of subtly interviewed people like weeks before, of just like, yeah, hey, like, what's like your fears? Like, what freaks you out? But like way ahead of time, I did that.
You sly dog.
And so when the session came around, I knew my ammunition and I was ready to go.
You were prepared.
Exactly. And I can just say for that, sound can do wonders for that.
Huge. Yeah. The little soundboard we bought for the channel has been just great. Although the problem I run into is I occasionally get lost in my own storytelling and I forget I have to hit buttons sometimes. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, but horror is hard. I'd say, like, that's not something for beginners to do. I would say.
Anytime a beginner comes to me and says, "Hey, I'd like to do a horror game," I'm like, okay, do a regular game first.
Do a regular one. Just get your bearings.
Do a regular game, or if you're gonna do a horror game, you need to do it with a group of people that are invested in being afraid.
Yeah.
Like, they need to have come to that table with the idea that I'm going to be frightened or scared, and they need to be in that mindset, or else it's not going to stick. They're not going to hold it. It's going to get goofy. It's going to get goofy real fast. And, if goofy's what you want, that's awesome. I love goofy games. Like, 90% of the games I do are a bit goofy.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's got to be fun. It's got to be funny, and usually the people I play with love humor.
Exactly. You got a fun group. So, how many other games have you done that like nobody knows about?
I mean, I have DM'd actually not very many, because except for like one-offs and stuff.
Right.
So I'd say about half of all the games I've ever done are out on the internet, and the other half aren't.
And what is the one that sticks out in your mind the most that isn't like well known?
That isn't well known.
Yeah. Make it big for this one.
I mean, I recently finished the campaign, like running it entirely, which was just a smaller one with a few friends, which will never be published. But I guess that's currently pretty stuck in my mind, because otherwise I would say Fool's Gold, because with everything that's been happening, it's made the biggest impact on me. But this other one was pretty fun, and kind of like exploring like really the concepts of like gods in D&D and such. Ooh. That was a lot of fun.
Very interesting.
Yeah. What about you? Is there like a key like memory campaign you have?
I mean, it's tough because like, here's the weird thing. I've technically been running the same campaign for like 10 years.
10 years is that's a good time.
But like, I've been running it with different tables in different timelines, in different like moments. So, like the world that I run for the show, it's the Forgotten Realms, but it also is like my take on the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
I base my world off the idea of, okay, this is the Forgotten Realms, you know, a couple like I'd say about 30 years after the events of all of the modules, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have everything that happens in the modules, all the adventures from like Horde of the Dragon Queen, all that kind of stuff, and I take those things and I say, okay, well, the adventurers that went on this adventure succeeded, and the ones that went on this one failed, and the ones that went like,
Yeah.
and just change my world based on those outcomes.
I like that.
And then of course I add my own characters and takes on everything. Like
Yeah.
there are no evil races in my world. I don't accept that.
Mm.
There are, there are races that people think are fully evil, but there are still people within those, or creatures within those races that are like, okay, well, I'm different, or
Definitely.
not like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a fun way to play.
Yeah, it is. No, the concept of evil races is an interesting one because it can be done right and wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's like you can have like also like I would say it needs to like the word could change to society. Like you can argue that the vanilla drow society structure is quite evil
Yeah,
if observed by someone from the surface who would be someone who considers themselves to be good.
exactly.
um and you can do that very right, but also it can be really fun if you drop that entirely and you subvert the expectation and like is that a spoiler? No, it's not a spoiler. Dingo once had like it was just a one-on-one campaign I played with her, and eventually we went underground and I encountered the drow there, and they were just a bunch of like rave party people
Nice.
using like bioluminescent paint and stuff like that, which was that was a lot of fun, and it was a fun subversion of expectation.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's an exciting setup. Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. I think the idea that like an individual doesn't, just because like an organization or a culture is seen as evil for like the things they do, doesn't mean like the individual. There could be offshoots or groups,
Totally.
or versions of all kinds of things. And sometimes I just like to take a well-known character and kind of flip what people know about them. Like my absolute favorite, and one that I keep playing with, is Nuvarim.
Okay.
So Nuvarim, almost nobody knows about this character. She is in like one chapter in Princes of the Apocalypse, and that's the extent of her appearance in like books.
Okay.
But she has the craziest backstory that I've ever heard. Because I looked into it because I was like, I wanted this cool kind of like imposing, but interesting, powerful character. So Nuvarim is a black shadow dragon.
Ooh.
But she is also a drow assassin.
Oh.
Yeah, so her dad is part of a offshoot of the Shadrakai that were sent to the Shadowfell and were enslaved by shadow dragons, and they eventually became shadow dragons through some magical nonsense, and then escape and now basically run around assassinating drow because they believe that drow society cannot reach its heights until they get rid of Lolth.
All right.
And that's Nuvarim's dad. So that's like the life she was put into, and now she like lives in this manor house in the Desert Valley. And I'm like, this is an incredible character.
Yeah.
So I took her and made her into this thing where it's like, okay, well, she's just like, she's alone and bored, and her whole life has been people coming to her trying to like take advantage of the power she wields. And she ends up falling in love with my NPC, who's like this exiled drow sorcerer who's just like kind of afraid of everything and tries desperately to survive. and who isn't interested in her power.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of cool to have around. It's fun NPC. But anyways, I like to flip stuff like that and change it and make it my own.
Subverting expectations is definitely awesome, and one of my favorite things to do.
Absolutely.
And if done right, as always, you have to do
yeah,
it right.
absolutely.
But it can be really fun.
There's always a right way. Well, there's definitely a wrong way sometimes to do things. I don't know if there's always a right way. There's just a lot of ways.
There's a lot of ways, and there's definitely a lot of them that are wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like a good wrong example, I guess, is like, was it like, I didn't even watch it, but a Game of Thrones ending.
Oh.
That's a bad way to subvert expectations.
Oh, God, so
You just
bad.
there's a way to like
It
make
des-
people curious and
It
reward them.
destroyed everything.
And then there's the Game of Thrones way of just coming with a big bat labeled "fuck you," no
Yeah.
guessing the ending.
Haha! All those things you thought were gonna happen, fuck you guys.
Not anymore.
We're gonna do whatever. I am very stuck. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Where let me see it here. Oh, I think I just passed you actually.
Oh,
wait,
did you?
no.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
How
I
do
just passed you. Damn
okay,
it.
well, how do I get out of here?
You're supposed to use your big glow, like hold
Okay.
down your B button on
Okay.
those flying dudes.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
they'll carry you up there.
Oh, all right. Let me.
And I'll actually wait in this
Oh,
next area.
oh.
Maybe. Yeah,
Hey.
there you go.
Hey!
Yeah,
I
they'll
didn't
carry
know
you
that was
forward.
a thing that could happen.
Go through the gate.
Oh, shit. Okay, I was supposed to move.
Oh, I'm in a phone call. Very sorry.
Okay, no problem. Take your whole.
Hey, so just brief intermission. This is
Sure.
a package I'm just getting, and I've been waiting on this for a long time, so I'll be right
No
back.
problem. Go get it.
Sorry about
We'll
that.
Cut this part out.
All right, I am back.
Welcome back.
That was
Package in hand.
Yes, that is a very exciting package I just received, the contents of which may be announced next week.
Oh boy. Jeez, all kinds of scoops.
So I'll wait in this room I'm at right now, because
Okay.
I'm just at the end of that section that you're in right now.
Okay. Let me come out the other side of it, and maybe we'll actually see each other.
Sure. I gotta ask you the ultimate like D&D question
Absolutely.
for like for any interview, which is, what is your best natural one moment,
My best natural.
or your
one
favorite, I
moment.
should say?
Goodness.
Okay, that light is where I'm at.
Ah, I see. You know,
Maybe it'll bump us together eventually.
maybe you'll just show up in my world. Jeez. What is the best natural one moment?
Or like, one like a funny moment that stands out to you.
Well,
Oh, somebody else is already in your world. Darn.
oh darn it! Where'd they go?
Behind you, that white glow. There you go.
There they are. Okay. Leave me. All right, rando. Jeez, that's a tough one, because we've had a lot of good moments over the years where things just kind of go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
In incredible ways. I think was one of my favorites was when we did the Strahd arc. And Strahd couldn't polymorph back anybody. It was just kind of left alone with it, or then he just got beat up again. Man, that's a tough one. I gotta have to think about that. I've been playing with the same people for so many years. just got so many rough moments where things just went sideways in a serious way.
Yeah. Well, it depends on your your rules for nat ones.
Yeah.
Because like for us, we definitely we follow the rule that nat one is really like it's a critical failure and some funny shit's gonna go down.
Like
And then we
do you use a nat one table or do you just make it up on the fly?
no, so we make it up,
Okay.
but we do play with the homebrew rule of so when you roll a nat one, you
Yep.
roll a second d20 to confirm just how bad it is. So if you roll another nat one, that's horrendous, and if you roll a nat 20, it basically negates your nat one, and you kind of start over.
That's pretty good. I like that.
So, and if you roll another nat one on the second roll, you get to roll a third die, and then on the third die, if you roll a nat one yet again, so it's 3 nat ones in a row, you die. Something happens, as unlikely as it may be, and you die.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is hardcore, but it's also like, I mean, what are the chances, right?
Yeah, and so we have the same for the opposite effect. So if you have a character rolls a nat 20, we say it's a critical success. Even on skill checks, I'm pretty generous with it.
Oh, for sure.
And then sometimes, depending on what kind of, if they're doing a crazy monster move, I'll say, well, roll another nat 20. Let's see how hard you succeed on this. And if they roll another nat 20, then once again, they get to roll a third nat 20. And if they roll another 20, then they instantly kill or accomplish what they were going to do, unless it breaks physics. But
Right.
if it's like in a fight, it will instantly kill the enemy.
It's so good.
And the best story I have for that, where that really bit me in the ass, is during my very first campaign I've ever done, which was just like, I mean, it was a huge mess. I was just trying to figure stuff out. It was fun, but it was a mess.
Everyone's first one is a bit of a mess.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be,
Yeah,
you just get in your training wheels.
That's the best way to learn, I think, is to do one really bad campaign and then you learn a ton of good lessons out of it.
Yeah. But basically what happened is that I had this moment where my big bad, he showed up to confront the party about like their progress. And he's just like, you've been, doing well, but of course you should just give up now. Just bad guy smack talk.
Right.
And so one player goes, I want to attack him. I'm just like, you know what? This guy's crazy overpowered, but sure,
Get him.
go have fun. Go get him. So Dingo, playing her character, I believe rolled 2 natural 20s in a row, didn't land a third one.
Of course it was Dingo.
Yeah. So rolled 2 nat ones, didn't land a third one. It's like, okay, well, she's doing pretty well. And bad guy I think he had to roll a save or something like that. I don't exactly remember. But bad guy rolls nat 1, nat 1, nat 1. So I had 3 nat 1s on the bad guy, which means he dies instantly, and 2 natural 20s on Dingo to attack bad guy. And I forget how exactly I resolved it, but I do remember the very specific quote I said, which is the bad guy was basically ripped out of his powerful transformation and just turned into like a normal, vulnerable man standing in front of them now, saying, this is awkward. And then I resolved the 2 nat 20s from Dingo, which basically killed him instantly.
My God.
And the big bad was no more.
Wow. That's incredible. That is...
Yeah.
What can you do but laugh at that point?
Exactly. And the campaign actually ended, ironically, on a triple nat 1 TPK from one of the players, because they were in a desert, and that player was all fire-based and unleashed basically a fireball centered on the party due to some nat 1s happening, which just turned the entire party, except one player who was lucky to be absent during that session, into glass statues.
Oh my God.
So... yeah, we like to go crazy. That's why I like to, use that wild magic table.
Absolutely.
I like the chaos.
It's so good. I love the wild magic table.
Yeah.
For our mid-season finale, I turned everybody into cookies.
Yeah.
They were cookie versions of themselves, and they had to fight a monster wedding cake because we were doing a wedding. And the monster wedding cake was basically the monster cake from Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars. And that was a ton of fun. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, No, it's fun when you just have like a quirky
Right?
thing like that.
Just play
Like for
with
the
it.
Halloween one-off, I turned them all tiny because it's like, now they're all toys.
So good.
Yeah. God,
So-
D&D is such a good time.
It's such a good time. It's such a wonderful game.
It is.
What was like? Do you have a like trap or puzzle scenario that really stands out in your mind that you ever put to your party?
Trap or puzzle? I mean, yes, but let me try to remember.
Okay. To
um,
some extent.
yeah, because I don't do a lot of traps and puzzles.
Yeah,
because
you tend to be like a more narratively driven. Like I get the impression from what I know about your campaigns.
well,
that
it's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, but most of your stuff is like character
Yeah.
and scenario. There's not so much traps and kind of.
I mean, traps for me belong in, like if I design a dungeon, there's traps in there,
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
But it's usually the pretty standard stuff with maybe like, a riddle thrown in as like a puzzle or something.
Mm-hmm.
The Halloween session I did a lot. Trap or puzzle. It's a good one. Oh, I think maybe when I was doing. Oh, why do you get lucky?
What did I do?
When that thing popped out, it popped out right in front of me and scared the hell out of me.
Oh well, okay then.
It's like
I was like,
miles
this
away
doesn't
for
look
you.
lucky, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. This looks terrible.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you can call this a trap. But basically, so when I had the horror D&D session, I introduced a mechanic which was supposed to put a lot of pressure on the players, like time pressure.
Right.
Because I wanted something to go really snappy, because it was like, kind of like the boulder is chasing you down, So you had to run and you had to jump over, pitfalls and avoid spikes and those kinds of things.
Right.
And instead of skill checks and those kinds of things, I simply had a deck of cards. And I said, you draw a black one, it succeeds. You draw a red one, you fail. And, the more you fail, the more you fall behind. Eventually, you're going to get caught and die.
Crazy.
And that's the way I designed that puzzle. Sorry, I'm just totally lost. Where the hell am I right now? Oh, I went backwards!
Oh
Damn
no!
it. Yeah, sorry.
That's
Okay,
okay.
going forwards again.
I've got a new helper.
Yeah.
They've got a very long scarf, and I feel inadequate.
It's a bit bigger than yours, huh?
Yeah, it's way longer. And
Oh, holy crap, you're not kidding, yeah.
yeah, it's like super long.
Yeah.
So whatever. It's not
Yeah.
I've got to find it. My scarf is really good. Oh god, there's more of them.
So anyways, I was chasing them through this hallway. I think I had some like amnesia style big scary darkness chasing them, and they were
Right.
jumping over pits, dodging like projectiles and stuff. And they had to draw these cards, and I was really putting the pressure on. They were all really anxious if they were going to survive or not. And eventually some people start failing and they start falling into like pits where they are taken to like other horrific activities and stuff. And at the very end of that entire session, the bad guy was just monologuing to them after they'd made it through everything. They was basically saying like, everything happened, exactly, according to what I had planned and whatnot.
I
The
am
usual.
the architect of your pain.
Exactly.
Like,
And at that point, I flipped over the cards. Sorry, no, sorry, I got that wrong. Before then, I was acting surprised as the DM. I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, you guys weren't supposed to make it through this, Like, when they were like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, I only put red cards in the deck, and I flipped the deck, and there was only red cards left in the pile that they hadn't drawn from yet. And it was just like, that was just kind of putting like a fun little like, ooh, something going on. And eventually, at the end of it all, the bad guy monologued, and I revealed that the deck of cards was very specifically stacked to, when they were supposed to succeed and when they were supposed to fail, which played really well into kind of like the bad guy's monologuing. But I'd say as far as traps go or like puzzles, that'd be one of mine.
That's pretty good.
It's like being railroady in the best way.
See, that's the that's the trouble I ran into. So I don't know if you knew about this one, but they did for the Dungeons and Dragons anniversary when they had that whole weekend where they had like a bunch of celebrity games going on and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They were actually also doing a Dungeon Master contest. And
okay.
for the first phase of it, you had to give them a complex trap. You had to build a complex trap and submit it, and then they were going to pick the top 10. I didn't make it. Spoiler alert. But but I had such a hard time coming up with a trap because I'm like, all my traps are psychological. None of them are physical things like you would make in the book. They're just stuff I do in game to mess with the players.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if like a complex trap is a good idea though. You know, like it should be solvable.
Well, apparently there's like details on how to make them in Xanathars, and you had to make them according to that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. There was, but you were supposed to submit a complex trap, and then they picked like the top 10s, and apparently that's still going on.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't make it to the top 10, so whatever. So I stopped paying attention to it. But
yeah, I don't think I would have made it either.
Yeah, I mean. It was a tough one. Would have been nice, but whatever. I'm not too hung up about it. But yeah, like that's kind of still. Eventually, you reach a point. Like if you're comfortable with the players that you're playing with, you kind of engineer your traps that aren't necessarily physical traps in game, but more like I've done things to make you guys think certain things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's not about the trap as much as it is about just the show.
Exactly. This is a presentation.
Yeah, the presentation.
Just like they say in Megamind.
Yeah. You know what? That line is very true for DMs.
Absolutely.
What's
you're a villain, all right, but you're
like
not super.
Yeah, exactly. The difference between like, I don't know, I guess like prolific, or what would be the right word, DM, and like a, I don't know. I'm just trying to get at the big difference is presentation.
Yeah, you gotta sell it.
That's true. You gotta sell it.
You gotta sell the presentation of the scenario.
Yeah.
Well, Felix, we're getting out of time here. It has just been an incredible trip. I have never played this game before, so thank you for exposing to me it again. Me too.
Would you say it has been an incredible journey?
This has been an incredible journey. But before we sign off, sir, I must ask you one question.
All right.
Do you have a dungeon master that you look up to? Is there another person who runs games that you're like, oh man, they're so cool, I like them?
I don't know if I could say there is a single person specifically that I look up to, but there is. Well, it's more like there's pieces of their style that I really admire.
Okay.
Like some of my players in my campaign, I play in their campaigns, which are just like little in-house fun, good times. And they do certain things. Like one of them is really good with NPCs. Like they're just the best. And I'm really like envious of their ability. I'm just like, damn, like that's freaking amazing. And Dingo's like world building skill is just amazing.
I really want to see Dingo DM some stuff.
She's great, and her specialty is world building.
I feel like she's got some serious skills that we have not yet seen fully. Yeah. No, her world building's unmatched, and I haven't seen like much. Like I don't watch much Critical Role, but I've seen like a few of its moments, and where I'm just thinking like, yeah, I mean, he really knows what he's doing with some of the stuff. Like I'm just like, yeah, that's something to strive for. I always try to get better. I always try to do something new. And I know with the newest campaign I am planning, I strive to improve my NPCs and do a bit of, some new world building techniques that I want to try out. Those kinds of things. Well, that sounds awesome, good sir. I'm excited to see and or hear about it in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for playing Journey with me.
Yeah. Thanks for
And
having me. And too bad we couldn't meet up in game, but it was still fun.
absolutely, still we're experiencing at the same time, and that's what I like. That's what I kind of want to do with this series. Is I like this whole like the feeling of sitting on a couch with your friends and playing a game.
It does go like it's a missing feeling nowadays. Everything
Yeah,
is
like
now online and stuff.
I loved that so much, and this kind of
Yeah.
just like hanging out, playing a game with some buds. It's so good, and then we just
Hanging out with
chat about
buds,
stuff.
playing games, talking D&D. Yeah.
Yeah, the good stuff, the good stuff.
Yeah.
But that's it for Dungeon Master Game Jams today. Felix, you've been an incredible guest. Thank you so much for joining me again, and I look forward to all of the stuff that you will be creating in the future, good sir. And hey, if you ever need somebody to sit in on a game for a stream, I'm more than happy to watch and talk, dude.
Well, I mean, thank you for having me, and you're an incredible host. And actually, like knowing that you are excited to see some of the other stuff I'm working on is a motivation. It really is.
Sir, I commend your work, and I am always excited to see what you'll do next. And
Thank
that's it for Dungeon Master Game Jams, everybody. Thank you for watching, and tune in next time when I'll have somebody else here who will play another game, and that's the way the show goes. All right.
Tune in, or I'm gonna kill off your favorite NPC.
Exactly. You better watch. He'll do it. And also head on over to Twitch, look for Final Boss Felix, and check out Felix on Twitch because he's doing his own things now too.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Have a good one, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.